Hello. Hello and welcome to the McTaggart Attack podcast. I'm Kevin McTaggart. And this is episode 128. It's 128. Pretty sure. Nope. It's not episode 128. It's episode 129. 129. I'm not editing this. It's episode 129. And if you can't tell by the music, it's not necessarily Game of Thrones music, but it's the closest I could find that is Game of Thrones music. But yes, this is WTF GoT, which stands for What the Fuck Game of Thrones. It is the 5th episode in a 6-episode series where I give my thoughts on all of the episodes in the final season of Game of Thrones. And this week, I'm talking about the 5th episode, the second to last episode of this season, called The Bells. That's right, the second to last episode of this season. You see, usually the second to last episode of every Game of Thrones season usually has, like, the most deaths, or usually just has, like, the most shocking things happen. And this episode did not disappoint in that. This episode, since it was the second to last episode of the final season, had to be pretty fucking epic. And I feel like it was. My gosh. Daenerys, the mother of dragons, or the mother of a dragon, now, I guess, since she only has one. Well, I guess she still is mother of dragons, since two of them are... She had 3, so she still is mother of dragons, but just 2 of them are dead. But yeah, she just burned all of King's Landing to the ground, basically. Not all of it, but a good portion of it. My gosh, just destroyed everything. Just everything. Burnt everything to the ground. So shocking. That's why it's called The Bells, because Tyrion said, when you hear the bells, that means they're going to surrender. And then they heard the bells, and then that's when it just erupted. That's when, they kept, the dragon started burning the people and burning buildings and tearing everything down and just destroying everything. It was so insane. It was so stressful and intense, and you didn't know who was going to die, and was she going to kill her own people too? Was it just going to be her and her dragon and not care about anybody else? My God, it wasn't even a war. It was supposed to be billed as like the last war or something. That wasn't a war. That was an ass kicking. But that just made it so much fucking better. I want to point out, I believe it was during my review of the Battle of Winterfell episode, The Long Night, I believe it was called, episode 3. I did say that I had a feeling that there may not be another war. And I was right. This was not a war. This was an assault. This was an ass kicking. This was just brutal, one-sided ass kicking. Not much of a war. I don't think that. My God, just, she burned everything. Everything. She was so mad. She truly is the Mad Queen, Daenerys is now. Has to be. My gosh. There are people out there who like, are upset that, like, the character development happened so quickly with her being the Mad Queen. This character development has been going on the entire series. There's only been one way that she's treated her enemies, and that's by burning them to a crisp. By using her dragons to get what she wants. That's all she's been doing, and that's what she did last night. She realized throughout the series, she realized that, you know, she wanted to be the best queen. She wanted to, like, be the greatest, be the nicest, free everyone from tyranny. And she was willing to do whatever it took to do that. And when Cersei killed Missandei and killed one of her children, one of her dragons, she just fucking snapped. And then she realizes that no one in the North liked her very much. No one seemed to like her very much on that side of the world. And she just said to fuck with all them. I'm just burning it all to the ground. I don't care. Gonna get what she wants. And she's got what she wanted. So intense. Such an intense episode. So much to talk about. My gosh. Varys getting killed in the beginning. I'm kind of disappointed that Tyrion didn't do a no ball joke when he went to tell Varys that it was him that turned him in. Wow, she just burned her to a crisp. Burned him to a crisp. I was afraid Tyrion was going to be next. I still don't want Tyrion to die. He's one of my favorite characters. Him, Jon Snow. But that, whatever the fuck that was, I guess for lack of a better word, it was a battle. I felt like half the people fighting for Daenerys, or at least Jon anyway, and a few of his people just thought, what are we doing? What is this? This isn't what we want to do. You know, this was, I think Jon realized that he's going to have to do something about this. She might not be the best choice for queen. She might not be the best choice to rule. I wonder what happens next week. The final episode. So excited for that. I shared an article on Facebook from Time Magazine that talked about the character development because people were complaining about the character development. So I shared it and I said, if you think there was sudden character development, you're an idiot. Because that pertained to Daenerys and her going crazy. This had been building. This has been building. She'd had people holding her back and not letting her do what she really wanted to do. She gets angry. She gets hot-headed. Jorah's dead now, though. He was one of the main people that kept her in check. And now, she's just on her own and she's doing what she thinks she should fucking do. And that's what she does. She doesn't even listen to Tyrion anymore. She doesn't even listen to the Hand of the King anymore. She kind of does, but not really. Like when Tyrion was telling her, just when the bells ring, just that'll be a surrender. Please don't do that. And then she totally fucking ignored those. She didn't even ignore it. She heard them, but she just kept going. And burnt that entire city to the ground. And killed so many people. I think they got some people out. I'm hoping that they did. But my gosh, she just destroyed it all. Is the Iron Throne safe? I hope she didn't destroy the throne room. That would have been a bad idea on her part. Maybe she creates a new Iron Throne or something. Maybe it's not a literal Iron Throne. It's just a figurative Iron Throne. Who the fuck knows what happens next week? My God. So fucking crazy. I do like how they did, they ended Jaime and Cersei's storyline. They had to somehow end up together. I kind of thought that Jaime would kill Cersei, but I don't know. No. That would have ruined it for me with them, because they loved each other. They were each other's true love, even though they were brother and sister. And they had to spend their last dying moments together, trapped underneath the castle. How appropriate. It's just ridiculous. Them getting buried alive, crushed. Or did they die? Who knows? I'm assuming they did. Will there be a funeral this time around? I doubt it. There won't be any big funeral scene, I don't think, this time around. But holy shit, what an insane episode. One other thing I want to talk about is people who complain about all of these episodes now. Like, I mentioned that article that I posted, and someone commented about, oh, this is a shit show. This entire last 2 seasons has been a shit show. And I'm like, then why the fuck do you keep watching it? If you hate the show so much, or if you hate any show so much that you've been watching it, and then you start hating it, why do you keep watching it? Don't watch the show anymore if you don't like the way it's going. You don't have to. Don't attach yourself to something. Don't be in an abusive relationship with your television show. If all it does is cause you pain and misery, if all it does is make you feel bad, it make you hate it, and you just want to watch it to see how it fucking ends, that's a stupid thing to do. I've done that before, and I hate doing that, and I hope I don't do it anymore. But it's just so freaking annoying hearing somebody say that. Like, oh, well, the last 2 seasons were shit, but I'm gonna watch next week just to see what happens. Well, you're a fucking idiot. Don't watch it then. Don't. Your life's not going to be any better or worse if you don't watch the show next week. You know, it's just fucking ridiculous. And I do love how the theories that were out there, like, are there more dragons? She only needed one dragon. The best dragon. That was the mistake. The other two dragons were dead. But they killed the other two weaker dragons. They died because they were weak. But Drogon is the baddest dragon of them all. It didn't dawn on me until this season that he's named after Drogo. Daenerys' husband. But such a fucking crazy show last night. My God. So insane. Man. It was very intense. I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. What the hell else issue did I have with the show? There weren't much things that happened except that, like, all of King's Landing got destroyed. Oh my God, yeah. The battle, the much anticipated duel between the Mountain and the Hound ended exactly how that should have ended, between them killing each other. That's the only way that could have ended properly. Especially when the Hound realized he can't kill his brother. As much as he tried. He tried 2 or 3 times. What he did would have normally killed anyone else, but did not kill the Mountain. So he had to do the one thing that he had to do. And kill himself by hopefully killing his brother. The Mountain is probably still alive. Let's face it. That fucker's never going to die. Unless they burned alive. Wow. So crazy. So fucking crazy. And people are like, oh, he could have killed Cersei when she walked up. He wasn't there for Cersei. He was only there for one person. Cersei had no power anymore. Once the dragon destroyed all of the cannons, and all of the ships, there was nothing left for Cersei. Cersei was no longer queen at that point. She had no more power. She was going to die soon anyway. There was no reason for Arya to kill Cersei. That was funny though, in the beginning, after the dragon had attacked from behind, which they didn't anticipate. And Cersei's like, all we need is one good shot. And then her hand is like, all the scorpion cannons are destroyed. Well, we still have the Iron Fleet out there. They're all burning. We don't have anything. It was just so crazy. Man. I felt really good after that episode. That was really great. Really wondering what the fuck's going to happen next week. I have to think Sansa is going to be involved. Something big's going to happen next week too. It has to. It's the last episode. But I'll tell you this. I will end it on this. I do not care what happens next week. I'm going to love it nonetheless. Or I'm going to hate it. Or something. But I'm just going to be like, I will... However they decide to end this show is perfectly fucking fine with me. I'm just going to sit back and watch it next week like I have been all season. And I encourage you to do the same. Just enjoy next week. It's the last episode of the greatest television series ever. Until another one comes along. Anyway, that's all I have for this week. For what the fuck Game of Thrones. The entire episode, the entire thing where the city gets burned down was an entire what the fuck Game of Thrones. Also, I think Arya kills Daenerys next week. I think Daenerys is now on Arya's list. After what Arya went through, trying to help as many people as she could. But she's going to have to do something about this. Alright, that's all I have for this week. Email me at McTaggartAttack@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook. Find the McTaggart Attack Podcast Facebook page. Find me on Twitter at KevMcT. And I'll talk to you next week after the series finale of Game of Thrones. I might cry I will cry next week. Maybe not on the podcast, but I'll cry at some point. And that's the bottom line if you smell what the McTaggart Attack podcast is cooking. What the fuck, Game of Thrones?